Hey everybody, this one is called Don't Buy Dodge Ram Junk number 2. This is additional information from the first one. It's amazing what's going on these days. So let's get going. Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administering Your Public Servants. For a complete set of YouTube videos with private information shares, a DVD with over 50 searchable law dictionaries and other books and forums, contact me privately at engineerwin@yahoo.com. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept the IOUs, the Federal Reserve notes, the PayPal gifts, the checks, the money orders, and especially the Bitcoin. Okay, now I want to throw in a little something about Bitcoin. I'm going to do a video about Bitcoin because I've been playing with that quite a bit, and I think that is the wave of the future, quite frankly, and it's not a debt. That's the thing I like about it, is not somebody's debt. And so, but this statement here is for all the Satanist order follower revenue officers operating in their private capacity under the Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966, because I prefer gold or silver coin or Bitcoin, and as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept the IOUs, the Federal Reserve notes, the PayPal gifts, the checks, the money orders, etc. Send me an email for particulars. And there's going to be an upcoming video about Bitcoin. Anyways, so I got a Dodge Ram, 2008 Dodge Ram pickup, and I bought it brand new, had 12 miles on it, and I got a bumper-to-bumper warranty on it, 4-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, and I put a lot of miles on it, there's no doubt about it, but anytime anything ever was done to it, it was always the dealer. And because I wanted to make sure that warranty was covered, I did the oil changes, I did everything they wanted me to do. And but the thing is really a piece of junk. And the first thing that happened recently was in the summer of 2016, the rear pinion nut came loose. And then after that, shortly after that, the short shaft U-joints went. And then the transmission was cracked. And then after I got the transmission repaired in the spring of 2017, now I got the transmission transfer case coming apart on me. I mean, it's just been one thing after another, and these are like major expenses. And if I was working, that'd be one thing, but I haven't been working for 4 years. So, that's like major problem. Anyway, so we're going to go into that. This here is a breakdown of it's the differential, and the top arrow there is pointing at the pinion nut, and the bottom arrow is pointing at the pinion, and that item 3 there at the top is where the drive shaft bolts to the rear differential to turn the rear differential. So to give you an idea on where all that is, anyways, that pinion nut came loose. And that is not something that should be happening, quite frankly. There was a whining sound. After a period of time, the whining got worse. After investigating, the rear pinion nut was loose. I talked to a service advisor at Huntsville Dodge in Huntsville, Texas. And I told the service advisor that I'd been out of work for 4 years, and I just wanted to fix what needed to be fixed, and that was it. And that's all I could afford. And so he understood that. He I talked to him, and before I even brought it in, he knew about it. I got a friend to take me over there. Anyway, so then I bring it over there, and they refused to even take the cover off. Okay, and they just opened up the cover, and they see the oil running out, and they said they want to do a complete ring and pinion overhaul for like $3,000. And so I kind of went off on them and called them parts changers. And they went and took it off the hoist and pulled it out and parked it on the street and said, take it, get it out of here. And so they absolutely refused to to do what I want them to do on that thing, they wouldn't do anything but replace the whole differential. And I guarantee you that not the whole differential needed to be replaced. They're a bunch of part changers. They're not interested in doing any work. They just want to replace a bunch of parts, okay? They're a bunch of monkeys, okay? They're tractor mechanics. That's exactly what these in Huntsville, Texas. They're just nothing but a bunch of tractor mechanics. Is all they are. They don't want to do anything on these trucks. They just want to make all sorts of money. They're a bunch of crooks. Anyways, don't get me going. So that was Huntsville Dodge. So Dodge has had recalls on these rear pinion nuts, and if they wanted to prevent this, all they had to do was install a 10-cent tab washer. And of course they don't want to do that. They want to sell you a new differential when that nut backs off. And they put tab washers inside the engines and stuff like that. Of course, this is probably giving them an idea now. They'll probably start skipping out on the tab washers on the main bearing bolts and stuff like that inside the crankcase, so that the engine will start to come apart and they can sell you another engine. That's the way these Dodge crooks work. Dodge intends that their junk fail so they can sell you another $3,000 differential overhaul. Anyways, I found a used differential for about $1,000 and paid $500 to get it installed. And because everywhere I went, they just wanted to overhaul the thing. They're a bunch of idiots. They don't want to do anything that takes some brains. Anyways, boy, it's a good thing this advertisement comes up just about the right time to let me, so I can chill out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on VidMe. The VidMe is Sovereignty International at vid.me. Don't forget to follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. Don't forget to like this video. YouTube, don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. On vid.me, don't forget to upvote this video. On Steemit, don't forget to vote and make your comments. This is the YouTube channel, and you notice the arrow is pointing at the bell. Click on the bell, a little pop-up will come up, and you have to check a box saying you want to be notified. And this is Steemit. And if you notice, the first arrow is where you upvote things. The second arrow tells you how many upvotes have been done, and the third arrow on the right-hand side is where you make comments. And this is also on Steemit. This is a guy by the name of Crypto Wallet. Anyways, what you do if you want to follow me is you click on that. You see the hand there? That's my mouse. You click on that, and this little window will come up, and you can follow me or unfollow me or whatever you want to do. Anyways, so the next topic of discussion is the short shaft U-joints. And this is taken from their parts manual. This shows the 3 different styles of short shafts that they have available. And notice how they all have that double U-joint at the end. And I'm going to get in. I got some pictures, and I'm going to show you a lot more about those things. Okay, this is a picture of a short shaft. And notice this is getting up at the end. And there's the point I want to make is where that arrow is pointing inside that hole, there's another U-joint, okay? These things are overly technical, overly complicated, and they do that so they can fail. They're not greasable. There's put a tape measure next to mine, okay? And if you look there, the center from the U-joint to U-joint is about 3 inches is all they are. They're about 3 inches apart. And that's my short shaft right there. And then if you look at the arrow, it's pointing at that U-joint that's inside. I got it bent to one side here, and you can see the arrow, the U-joint that's on the inside. And so these things are way more complicated than they need to be. And it's because this one here, I actually bought, I got greasable U-joints put in, and so I can grease them. But the ones that you get from the dealer are not, okay? They want those things to fail. They plan on those things to fail because it's going to cause all sorts of expenses for you, and you're going to have to replace a whole bunch of stuff in your truck, like your transmission when it just about breaks in half. These U-joints are not greased, the ones that come from the dealer. They're designed to fail. They're overly complicated and unnecessary. They wanted over $500 to replace that dry shaft after telling them I'd been out of work for over 4 years. They referred me to a machine shop, and I got it done for about $150. They put a new U-joint in there. New U-joints, I've supplied the U-joints. They're only like about $8 a piece. And they went and put it in there, and they put the seal. There's even supposed to be a seal around that internal U-joint to keep the dust out of it, and the dirt, which you can imagine, it's a four-wheel drive. Of course there's going to be dirt and stuff getting up in there. And that's why they're overly complicated. They don't need to be so complicated. They can use a steady bearing. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. Have a two-piece drive shaft with a steady bearing. Nothing complicated. Anyways, now another advertisement. Good thing they come along, get me to chill out a little bit. Announcing a subscription-based YouTube channel called Sovereignty International. The recommended cost of the subscription is currently $1.99 because it avoids the advertising only. If you like my work, it can be a donation. I certainly appreciate donations, and it's a modest one. There's no doubt about it, but every little bit helps. A whole bunch of people chipping in a little bit, and it can add up to be a lot. Anyways, as a matter of fact, my regular YouTube channel has 8,000 subscribers. If they were all doing $1.99 each, I mean, man, I'd be really happy. Anyways, the only power that the New World Order Satanists have over us is through fraud and deception, and my agenda is to expose it for all our benefit. For that reason, there will be very little exclusive material on that channel. Currently, I publish one video a week. Actually, there is going to be a lot more exclusive material than there has been in the past. So there is going to be a lot more exclusive material on that channel. Matter of fact, almost everything I'm going to do is going to be exclusive. Now, I'm probably going to publish about one video a week to the regular channel, the free channel, just to keep a little bit of interest over there. But it's going to be, most of the stuff is going to be at the exclusive channel or vid.me, and if I find another place, you know, I'll be doing it there. I've heard of some other ones, although there was one that I heard about that wasn't really accepting any subscribers yet, or I should say channels yet. There was a bunch of channels already there, but they weren't accepting new ones. Anyways, the link to the channel, because I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, they won't give me a customized URL. And so the URL is at the bottom. Some people had some trouble finding the URL. And so the URL is at the bottom. It's also at the top. It'll be at the top of this shot here coming up. Anyways, some of the exclusive content that's already up there is an Arlington private information share. There's land deed training. There's estoppel certificates training. There's foreclosure estoppel certificates training. There's corporate denial training. There's toll roads notice and demand training. There's invoice training. There's notice of void judgment training. There's revocation of signature training. And there's third-party witness training. And some of the upcoming exclusive content is going to be lawsuit training, criminal complaint training, and other training and requests. There's YouTube revenue has plummeted, and I'm moving to different venues, and so this subscription channel is going to get more and more stuff. Now, basically everything that people need to know that's for free, or I should say is for free on the free channel. I'm going to be focusing on doing more advanced things and putting it on the subscription channel. I'm going to be uploading a federal habeas corpus video here pretty soon. I am actually preparing one for someone in Texas that's in jail with the IRS thieves. And so, but there's going to be a lot of videos now that would normally go on the free channel that I'm going to be putting I'm going to be making exclusive on the exclusive channel. So there'll be a few things on the free channel still, but most of it's going to be on the exclusive channel. Anyways, the subscription will continue to get all new videos uploaded, but the free channel will be severely limited. Anyways, there's the front page of the subscription-based channel, and there's the URL. The top arrow is the URL. The bottom arrow is how you have to subscribe. Now, some people actually sent me a $1.99 donation, and I wasn't sure what it was for. And so I actually offered to refund it because I cannot subscribe anybody to this channel. That's all under YouTube's control. And so I offered to refund it. They never did, respond. So the bottom line is, though, is that I have no control over the subscribers. You have to click that start free trial button, and I imagine YouTube is going to want some, credit card information or something, so that for the $1.99 a month. Now and I can't even see all the subscribers. I can see some of them, but I can't see them all. Anyways, so that's the way you're going to have to do it. The only way you can do it. I have no control over the subscribers. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. So now the next thing that happened was my Dodge Ram junk transmission was cracked. Isn't that nice, eh? So first of all, I get this pinion nut that backs off. It just happens to fall off. And then I get this short shaft, the U-joints fail, and now I got the transmission cracked. And I noticed that the transmission was leaking. One time it would not come out of fourth gear. I reset the codes, and then it would shift. And then I looked at what the codes were for, and it was because they were related to low oil pressure. So I cleaned off the transmission with electric contact cleaner. There was transmission fluid all over the place down there, and I drove for a short distance, and you could see where it was coming out of these cracks, and it was more like broken in half. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, the place that I ultimately got it fixed actually said that the thing was just about broken in half. And so, I mean, it is such a piece of junk. There's a one that I got on eBay. I was actually going to take a picture of it, and I never did. But this weld is exactly where that crack was. Okay, it was right along the same line as this weld. And where this arrow, this red arrow is on this transmission case, this is the same transmission. And along that same arrow, along that same line where that weld is, inside that circle, is where that crack was. And this is the other side. It was just about broken in half, I'm telling you. And that's what the place that did it, that told me about it, or that repaired it, what they did is they went and pulled the guts out of this one, and they had another case. They put it in, they rebuilt it and put it in another case, and that's what I have right now. And that cost me like $3,500, and which is a lot less than it would have cost. I mean, there was places that were talking $5,000-$6,000 just for the transmission, and then they were talking about the installation too on top of that. I mean, this is a money-making business for these Dodge thieves. So this Dodge Ram junk transmission crack, this is the top view of the transmission case, and this is a view of the of where the crack develops, and you can see how the metal is weakened. It's like they want it to crack there. They've designed that thing to be cracked right there. Exactly what they've done. Okay, you can see how they've wasted away the left portion of the metal out. That's exactly what they designed it to do, and what they did is they designed those drive shafts so that when they fail, they create a vibration, and it creates this crack and cracks your transmission. So then they get to sell you a $500 drive shaft and then a $3,500 or $5,000 transmission. Okay, this is just a big money making scam by these Dodge thieves. Good thing this advertisement came up, because I was starting to get worked up again. For great custom websites, domain names, and hostings, go to cubeyard.com. Use coupon code CY172 for 20% off your first order. Cubeyard.com, your source for websites, domain names, and hosting. So back to the topic at hand. These Dodge Ram junk transmissions are supposed to go through a stress analysis. And believe me, I know all about it, because I do aerospace engineering consulting, and I have seen them do stress analysis on aerospace components. I participated in designing the hydraulic system on the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, and so this transmission is basically a hydraulic system. Any automatic transmission is a hydraulic system. It's hydraulic fluid that is the transmission fluid. It's hydraulic fluid is what it is. Anyways, all structures undergo a stress analysis. A stress analysis determines the type of material the structure will be made of, the material thickness, the shape of the material, and then they add in a 10% safety margin. And this is an example of a stress analysis that was done on a hook. And you can see as it gets, the blue areas are the low stress areas, and then the red areas are the high stress areas. And so they know all about this, where these stresses are. This is a piston. The blue areas are the low stress areas, and the red areas are the high stress areas. This is a propeller. The blue areas are the low stress areas, and the red areas are the high stress areas. This is a gear. And this actually looks like a ring and pinion gear. But again, the blue areas are the low stress areas, and the red areas are the high stress areas. And an automatic transmission is a self-contained hydraulic system. In an airplane, the hydraulic system is the single most reliable system. If there's a failure in an airplane hydraulic system, it's probably because of an electrical component. And usually it's easy to replace. Sometimes the troubleshooting is a trouble, but yeah, usually it's just changing out some switch. Anyways, and what they've done, even if you look on this transmission on this case, you see the red lines. I mean, they've actually reinforced it because they knew that there was problems with the structure, and so they put in stiffeners. Okay, that's what those are. Those ribs, they're called stiffeners, where they're strengthening. They're trying to make it as light as possible and yet keep it as strong as possible. And so they put these stiffeners in there to help strengthen the thing. And so they know exactly what they're doing. These people are nothing but a bunch of crooks. These Dodge Ram junk transmission cracks. There's all sorts of issues with Dodge pickup transmissions. A dealer told me that it was because of vibration caused from a bad U-joint on the front drive shaft, on that short shaft. The vibration fatigued the transmission case. I found a place that took the internals out of my transmission and overhauled them and put them into a different case. And the place that overhauled the transmission, I talked to them over there, and they said that there are hundreds of cases like these. They've seen hundreds of them. This is like big money-making business for these Dodge crooks, okay? And it's all big business. They're nothing but a bunch of crooks. If I replace the transmission, how do I know the new one won't crack? It probably will, okay? And so you need to, like that damn piece of crap short shaft is part of the problem. They've done nothing to relieve the stresses on these castings. They're supposed to break the sharp corners and the shot peening and that kind of stuff. They haven't done any of that stuff. If you go back here, I mean, it's all very rough, and they haven't you're supposed to break the sharp edges and bead blast it and smooth everything out, and it handles the stresses way better. They give you a 1-year warranty, sometimes up to a 3 years warranty on a rebuilt transmission after you pay $5,000. And this is a black hole for money and a windfall for these Dodge thieves. Anyone who buys any Dodge Ram junk is asking for major repair expenses, and this is only the beginning, okay? This last point I'm getting to is my damn transfer case is starting to come apart now. And that was like 2 months after the transmission was rebuilt. Anyways, the Dodge Ram junk is asking for major repair expenses again and again and again. These people are nothing but a bunch of crooks. And this is another shot of the transmission case. And my contact information is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email address is engineerwin@yahoo. My YouTube profile is Sovereign Living and Sovereignty International. My Facebook community page, I deleted it due to censorship on the part of Facebook. My private group called Sovereignty International is being deleted. It takes time to ban 17,000 people off your group, and I'm not going to let Facebook profit from my hard work. And the Yahoo private group is called Administering Your Public Servants. My Google private group is called Administering Your Public Servants. Follow me on Twitter at EngineerWin. Follow me on VidMe at Sovereignty International. Follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. And so anyways, less than 2 months after getting the transmission overhauled, I got another vibration. Okay, I'm telling you, I was on my first trip, and I was in Arizona going to Texas, and I started noticing a vibration. I didn't think too much about it, but then it started. I noticed that I'd get this vibration. You would think it would sound like a vibration you'd get when you go over a bump, but only it didn't happen when you went over a bump. It just happened out of the middle of nowhere. And so I removed the short shaft and checked the output flange of the transfer case, and when I turn it, I get all sorts of rattling noises from the inside. Okay. Okay, so that transfer case is starting to come apart. The Dodge Ram junk just does not end. Okay, these things are just pieces of absolute junk. Next time I'm going to test drive a Ford or a Chevy, quite frankly. I'm not sure. I don't know. At this point, I don't have the money to buy something new. But when I get back to work, okay, ultimately I'll get back to work and I'll be making $10,000 a month or more, and so then what I'll do is I'll be looking for another new truck, and it's certainly not going to be a Dodge, and I'm definitely going to give a Ford a try, and I'm going to take a look underneath and see if it's got any like short shaft junk like that one has, and a few things like that, and so we'll see. That's all I can say. And I'll give a Chevy. I like the looks of Chevy trucks. They just don't have very good. I don't like their engines, but I like the Dodge engine. But if the thing is going to be such a piece of junk, I'm obviously going to have to reevaluate. Anyways, this is the transfer case. This is the transmission with the transfer case, and the arrow or the circle is surrounding the area where that crack developed. But the arrow is pointing at the output shaft on the transfer case, and that is where the I took the short shaft bolts up to that transfer case like that, and goes to the front differential, and so when you turn that output shaft on the transfer case, you hear all sorts of, and I've done that before, and you don't normally hear these kinds of noises coming from the inside of that transfer case. So it's starting to come apart. So I'm not sure. Fortunately, the transfer case fluid is kept separate from the transmission, so it's not going to affect the transmission. But still, yeah, it's that's the good part, is that the transfer case fluid is separate from the transmission fluid. Anyways, so that's what's going to happen. Check out my other videos: Bankster Thieves playlist, Roman Cult playlist, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments, Bar Members 1 through 3, Do-It-Yourself How Not to Volunteer for Selective Service in the Draft, Martial Laws Here, Do-It-Yourself No Income Tax, Do-It-Yourself Free Mail 1 and 2, Do-It-Yourself Kangaroo Courts 1 through 9, Canada Border Pigs playlist, Bar Members and their Satanic Connections playlist. Is Dodge owned by the Roman Cult? In 2008, Dodge went bankrupt. In 2014, Fiat bought Chrysler for $4.35 billion. Fiat is now sold at Dodge dealerships. So who's the majority stockholder for Fiat? I'll bet you it's the Roman Cult. Fiat gains control of Chrysler and $4.35 billion deal. This is a internet article. Thomas Ebhart and Mark Clothier. I'm not sure where it was, where I found it, but it was a simple Google search. Anyway, so that's the internet article. If I replace the transmission, the next one will probably crack. And so, I want to get rid of this Dodge, I'll tell you. It may crack before the warranty runs out. Check out my upcoming video about what I'm going to do to fix it. And that's what I did to fix it, actually, is I just I found a place that it was leaking all over the place. It was such a major pain in the butt because the thing was leaking all over the place, and it'd leave a pool of fluid underneath it everywhere you parked it. People had complained. I was staying at my daughter's place in Arizona, and the neighbors were complaining. Somebody needs to sue Dodge. This is a safety violation. If the thing's if it comes apart when you're towing a 35-foot fifth wheel with 40,000 pounds on the back there, and that thing comes apart, it's going to cause a pile up on the freeway. And that's the only thing these crooks understand. Anyways, thanks for watching, and don't buy Dodge Ram junk.